Welcome to the CADclass podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Jake.
And we're back. We haven't been here. Back. We've been on, we've been off, we've been writing, we've been pretending to be busy. It is really nice to be here. It's really nice to be with you all. Good morning, Cadence. Good morning, Ogre. Good morning, Connie, Cornelia. And I hope to see a bunch of you joining us from here. I want to quickly frame this, Jake, if you don't mind. We had some discussions.
We've been on a minute. All right, go on.
We've been out here for a second. So first off, if you're new here, feel free to ask any questions. We're going to try to answer them live in the chat if we can get to them. There are some changes in Fusion we'll be talking about today, but the big thing I want to frame today is that we are sticking to our guns, and we were going back and we're going to talk more about CAD and design process, and instead of kind of the meandering into the 3D printing industry, which I think we both love, but we both recognize also that we're selling shovels for that industry by teaching CAD.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Fair enough.
What do you think about that, Jake? What do you think about that?
I love 3D printing. So much content, but yeah, bringing it back to CAD is always good. It's very strange, and just with what we do, we make media about CAD, but I don't make a ton of my own personal projects and go deep into the skill set as often as I should potentially. But every once in a while, I will come across something that I need to make, that I need to model. And I want to get back into that. So today we have a bit of a serious brain mangling challenge that I still don't know if I can make. We're going to be proposing to you guys to see if you can find a better solution than me, which you very probably will. But it's been something that I've literally been thinking of every hour on the hour for a couple days now. So that's going to be the topic of today. But we're going to be bringing it back into CAD. We're going to be showing you guys some of the changes that we've actually found as we've been filming the new Fusion course that we're going to be putting back into the book to make sure that is as updated as possible. And just some random things that we didn't cover as we're going through and filming all the course and going through the book. I'm like, oh, we never touched on this very, very basic thing that some people may know about, but I think most people see but don't absorb, if that makes sense. They see it as just kind of a part of the software, and they don't really fully internalize what it can do or what it means. But that's kind of the frame of what I want to do today.
That's a fantastic frame.
But as always, we want to start off showing off your guys' projects. So let's dive into the Discord just to show off some of everyone's cool stuff. Coming in from Connie, my husband asked me to print a cigar box for traveling, which is so funny, as I did not find a good solution on principles. That doesn't surprise me. I came with the idea of modifying an existing box layout. It can now hold 3 cigars as well as a cigar cutter. That is so funny.
This thing is rad. I don't smoke cigars, and I want one. I want one. That's amazing.
That is very, very, very cool. I
Jake,
really do love all these rugged boxes.
Cigar, Jake?
No, I haven't.
I knew it. I was like, "There's no way you've ever."
I can't stand the smell of cigars. It's always if I'm ever anywhere in public and somebody's smoking a cigar, it's always the kind of guy that has the big personality of like, everybody loves cigars, so I'm gonna blow it in everyone's face. There we go. And I'm like, not for me.
I tried to convince myself that it would be cool if I smoked cigars for a couple of years, and I really tried hard to like cigars, and I gotta say, I left going, man, these things are terrible. And it was the same with whiskey too. It's like, what if I just like smoked cigar and had this really nice fancy whiskey?
And I'm the whiskey
and
guy.
I do not like whiskey, and I do not like cigars. I sat there and just like, this is bad. Right, but I wanted to be cool. So anyways, back to the design stuff. So
no,
Connie,
coat your throat with the cigar smoke, and then you can down whiskey just fine. That's how
Connie says, I don't like them either, but a wish is a wish. Connie, kudos to you. This design is really, really neat. I love cases and boxes, especially like this little, you could see when you look at the cigar cutter that you've got little slots for your fingers to fit in to pull this thing out. Really nice design choice there. The little latches that go on top of it, plus the Stormtrooper on the front. That's a rad design. That right there is a product you could probably take to smoke shops.
Yeah, actually.
You could probably take that to smoke shops and sell it at the front counter. Not that you're trying to start a little cigar cutter business, Connie, but that is really cool. I like it a lot.
I love it. And then going on to Ogre, purchased the commercial license for HueForge. Everyone's doing it. I still haven't played around with it yet. So I designed some pegboard displays for them.
Look
That's
at
pretty
this.
rad. Oh, what did you say? These are a local business that anyone can rent space in. This will cost me $14 a month. That's
$14 a month to rent space to sell your artwork seems insanely cheap. Ogre, where are you that you can get space for $14 a month? This is amazing. And I love I'm just really loving the HueForge design stuff. It's pushing the limits of what's possible with 3D printing, with the AMS systems. It's just amazing. So, and these little simple, I love these hanger. Jake, you have strong opinions about pegboard. I'm pretty sure you love pegboard.
I don't know where this rage comes from. I really don't know, but I have this. I have a love for workshops, and I have a deep hatred for garage workshops. Like, I absolutely love going into people's hovels where it's a mess or it's organized, because I've always said a workshop is a manifestation of a maker's brain. It's a physicality, and it is so telling of who they are as a person. Which I do love to see, even when it's a messy and it's a tip where that person knows where everything is. I still love going into that. But anytime I go into like a garage workshop, if it's out of necessity, that's fine. If they're like, well, I have a 2-car garage, move my car onto one side, and so I can have my workbench on the other, that's fine. That's totally fine. It's when it's like the dad working on a weekend project, I'm going to mow my lawn, and I have all of my wrenches that I've never used on a pegboard on display. I hate it. I hate it so much. And I hate all the individual... Oh, my pegboard.
Yeah.
Pegboard is one of those things.
Trigger warning.
It's a lie. It's actually a lie, because it's advertised as, oh, look at how much space this saves you. And it's completely not true, because it takes up like a gigantic amount of space. And it's the same thing with the French cleat system that was like all the rage in woodworking like 5 years ago. They're like, oh yeah, it's all 45 things and everything's custom. And it's like, yeah, the amount of wall space that takes up is infinitely bigger than if you just put like a tool hutch on there and put them into drawers. That takes up so much less room, and it bugs me, and I don't like it. And it means that there's no art on the walls either. Like, workshops that have art, like full framed pictures, are so much cooler than pegboard.
Yep. Concur. I concur.
I
love a good picture.
Anyway,
but back to the design. So back to the design. Let's dissect a little bit of this design.
Really like the design.
So the design thinking side of this is what we want to dive into. So check it out. So what do we have here?
So it looks like this piece actually slots into the wall, and then just by pressure leans down, and then this one is potentially for a different place that needs a screw, and then that piece just kind of holds it up flat against the wall, which is just nice. It's just a nice design.
It really is a nice design. Really is a nice design.
Yeah, I love that. And I love all these prints.
I wonder how many iterations. So Ogre's in here. I think that was his design. He says Klamath Falls, Oregon. I got to be honest, I don't know where that is. So I'm going to have to Google that.
Never been to Oregon. I do really want to, though.
But Ogre,
these are lovely. I love that.
I'm curious, how many iterations did you go through, if any? Did you get it right the first time? Did you have to go through a couple different tries? Just curious. Let us know in the comments section.
And then this one above, the guy's making a starship piece by piece, which is going to be a good lord gigantic. For anyone that doesn't know, the Starship is this gigantic rocket that SpaceX has been working on for damn near a decade to try and get far out of Earth trajectories, essentially. So this is what's going to take human beings to Mars, essentially. And he's building a replica piece by piece, which is insane. And the first rocket that SpaceX sent off and then successfully landed for it to be reused is on display at the what's it called? Well, it's the SpaceX factory in California, in LA County, in Hawthorne. That's it, Hawthorne. And it's literally located next door to the Tesla factory, which is right next to the opening of the Oh gosh, it's the bloody underground train thing. That's not. It's the Hyperloop thing.
Oh yeah,
It's
the
just so
Boring
silly.
Company.
Yeah, but it's all in this same neighborhood, but it's also across the street from a Costco, which just makes me laugh every time we try. I don't know why. But the first rocket is there and it's on display, and it's gigantic, and the little crosshatch fins on the side of it, like it's all solid aluminum that's been milled, and like you can't even wrap your brain around it because it's taller than a person. It's just it's amazing to see in real life. It's bizarre. Um, but we wanted to go over a couple of things in CAD because I actually do think that this little challenge project is going to take so much longer than anyone expects. But first, I want to just show off a couple little tiny things that some people may not or may not know about. Very very quick, simple things here and there. Um, we just finished filming the metric bolt project. We're going to be working on the prototype drone today. But for the little knurls on this top surface, the straight knurl, you can see that are obviously circularly patterned uh, around the central axis. Um, pretty simple. And anytime that you're doing this, you're selecting all the objects, all the actual little groove cutouts, the knurls that go around there. I believe in the book we say, oh yeah, just select the features. So if I just go back a step, really quick to show off this, we would go into the circular pattern and we'd say, okay, this groove that was made by the extrusion. It's the most recent one in the timeline. So you can change your object type to features, and then you can select that in the timeline. And that's a perfectly fine thing to do. But this object type, I don't think a lot of people realize there is an extra feature called faces, which you don't find really anywhere else in the software as like a thing to click and then use instead of just something that you made going to a face. But the faces is saying that you can click on any single face that makes up an object or makes up a feature of something that you made, and you can use that absolutely as something to pattern around your model. It's really, really strange, but you can do it. The downside to it is that it is really hit or miss. Like, obviously, on this project, if I'm trying to pattern this groove, it's those two faces. That's pretty easy to deal with. But a lot of the times when people try and pattern really all the faces of a complicated model around it, there'll be some random face or some random fillet that you didn't click that doesn't get patterned over, and then you have to go back and re-click it, which is a bit of a pain. So for really simple things, you can select faces, but it's oftentimes not as fast as just clicking the features. But it's one of those things that I think people scan by, but they don't honestly take a look at it, so they don't know that it's there, but it is there. Sometimes useful, but the majority of the time you can just click on features. So there you go. That is an available thing. We really don't recommend. The one thing that is kind of bizarre that I think became a Fusion update without anybody knowing about it, without it's not on any of their documentation. But for a partial thread, as you can see on any shank or anything like that, it used to be driven by your orientation, the view that you have of your model. So in the book that we wrote a couple months ago, if I wanted to add a partial thread onto this bolt, in the book, we're going to be republishing it with the new correct information. If I said in this orientation, I'm going to click on this cylindrical surface and I uncheck full length, this thread would be added to the portion of the shank that is closest to me in this view. So if I were to change my orientation, then I would have a straight shank on the other side and this thread on this side closer to me, which is like, okay, that's just kind of the logic that Fusion's deciding to use. All right. But now, regardless of your view, it is now the location of the cylinder that you click, which is what we've been asking for ages. So if I go back through the timeline, if I undo this, now back to the straight shank, and I go onto thread, and I don't want a full length, and I click on this back surface, that's where the partial thread is. Even though my thread is on this side. So if I cancel that and undo it, go into thread again, uncheck full length, and I click down here. Now my thread is on this side. And it's one of those bizarre things that I don't know why that wasn't the point to begin with. But it's, you guys can test it out. And we do this partial thread on this project and on the geocache hide on the project before. And we're now having to change that documentation again to match it, because we say, oh yeah, click it on this side and it doesn't really matter, don't worry about it. It now does matter and it makes way more sense. So there you go. It is now much, much, much easier to deal with.
Thank you. Thank you, Autodesk. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I know, that is
so much more intuitive.
That being said, it is nowhere in their documentation. It just kind of makes sense. So if
it's probably one of
update,
it's one of those things where it may not pertain only to threads. It might have been a higher level.
It may be, yeah.
Now thing, right? So it could be something that's just hard either to communicate or even to find.
I guess, but it's a small, obvious thing that I wish they put in before a couple months ago. That's it, basically.
Yeah.
But as we go through and we film all the videos for the course, I'm sure we'll be finding lots and lots and lots of things to update the book with, especially for the early chapters that we know people are going to be going through more likely. We're going to be fixing those changes, republishing the book, and then republishing it on the Google Drive so everyone has the most up-to-date information as possible. That's great. Anyway.
On the speaking of which, as you're kind of moving into the next topic here, I am in the process of making the drone. I have ordered the parts, and I want to fill you in, our audience, on some of what I'm learning as I'm going through making one, because we're going to take these to conventions and things. And honestly, let's be real, I've wanted a drone for a while. Why I don't own one is I don't need to own more stuff. That's probably why. But now I have no excuse. So I've been going back and forth with Derry, who was the one that designed it and really gave us a lot of the inspiration behind this project. And some of the components are now out of stock and you can't find them. So depending on the protocol that you use to communicate, right? So whatever that protocol was, that particular thing is out of stock. However, Derry pointed me to a model that you can basically purchase a ready-to-roll drone and then pull all the components off of. You'll still need to order your own battery. And it's called the Happy Model BNF Mobula 8. And I'll see if I can put a link to it in the description here. But it's got every single component. It's Happy Model is the same company that made, or that I don't know if they manufacture, if they just white label, but they have the boards, the AIO boards, the all-in-one boards,
all-in-one
that contain everything. So I'm just going to click through to this, and I'll post a link in the chat, and then hopefully if I can remember to do this afterwards, and if I don't, let me know. I'll also post a link in the Discord, and there's Derry right there. I'll also post a link in the Discord. Morning. Let's see. Click that. So that chat is now on the link. That link is now in the chat, and I will update you on building this as it goes. One of the nice things about this model, which Derry pointed out, is it comes with a camera as well. So
that's pretty nice.
We didn't have the camera in the original stuff. So it comes with a camera, has slightly smaller propellers, and Derry seemed to think, I'm sure Derry's wanting to go super fast with his. Yeah. I probably will be fine with the smaller propellers, but I ordered larger ones as well, just for the fun of it. So there you have it. We will be building it. It is designed to be made, and then hopefully manufacturing some of the frame out of carbon fiber with either PCBWay or some company like that. Anyways, back to you, Jake.
All right. I have a challenge basically for everyone here, and we're going to be posting it in the Discord just because I haven't found a simple solution for this. So the story is one of our co-authors, Ed Charlwood, who wrote the Tinkercad book. He essentially said, "Oh, somebody sent me this model, this file, and said, can you recreate it? I don't know how they did it." He then tried for hours and hours, couldn't figure it out, sent me all these videos of I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, I don't know how they did it, and said, can you recreate it? And I was looking at it for a while, and I'm like, okay, I think I know how they did that. I think I know how they did that. I don't know how they did that. And it is a project that looks incredibly simple. It looks, or the geometry looks very, very simple. But it is full of, I believe, so many different techniques that would be used to make it that I have no idea how anyone would make it with like one simple tool, one simple trick. And so I'm going to try and recreate it with you, Josh, and you guys live to show off some of the techniques that I would use to go ahead and try and recreate this. But it's one of those things that I'm really going to kind of hold my hand up and say, I don't fully know how this was made. So if you guys can recreate it, go ahead.
Yeah, and I want, if you would do us the favor, I would love to hear your thinking out loud.
Okay.
Of how you're thinking, not just diving straight into design, but okay, you're looking at this thing. What is going through your brain when you look at it? What are the ways? Do you get my point? Like, what are the what do you think about? What don't you think about? What matters? And I think this is one of those things that we talked about in our. We didn't have room in our book to talk about that design process. We thought that's just going to get in the way. It's just going to get in the way for now. But one of the things that I think our podcast could be particularly suited for. So when you look at the model, and now that you've been studying it and thinking about it for a little while, A, how do you study it? And B, what's going through your mind? So go ahead.
Okay.
Take it away, Jake.
So this is a very, very, very simple thing. And Josh, I want your commentary about if I'm doing well or if I'm not. But here's the very, very simple model. It's on principles, and you can take a look at it. Look at this. It is essentially just a cube with the letters Z, X, and Y on it. And the Z is copied on the underside as well. And then obviously where the negative areas of the letters are on that face become projection cavities to the inside. All of this looks like a simple thing, right? I have been racking my head to try and find like a simple way to do this. And I really can't. I really can't.
So what makes it? So what is in your mind? What is making it?
Okay, so I think So the first things first is you have to start out in a Boolean state of mind, which is start out with something very, very simple, and you're either adding or taking away simple shapes. Okay, I think we can all look at this and say, okay, this is a cube. This is a cube. Starts off at a cube. If you look at all different perspectives, it's a cube, and we have just subtracted some material away from it. So I'm going to start out by making a cube. Let's just say 50
So you're looking
millimeters.
at this. So you're looking at this, and you're saying this is a subtractive project for me.
I think this is
an
a subtractive project. Yes.
Why? Why is it subtractive and not additive?
Because the cutout, the outer shape of it, is more. If you extend those planes, it's more simple to start off with a cube than to start off with all these funky inner geometries that then get projected out to be simple shapes. That's what I'm thinking. So
okay, interesting.
So what I thought of first of all is, maybe they started off with an X that they then extruded out.
That's what.
And then they went with a top view of a Z, which is still technically a square, and then they cut in. I don't think that's how they did it, because there's a lot of undercut. Like that doesn't make sense from certain perspectives. Like, maybe it's overlap, but that wouldn't make too much sense, because this Z would then lose its feature in this corner. Do you know what I mean? So
interesting.
So maybe it's a projection downwards, like this Z, you would project this face downwards to then that underside, like to these faces of the, but it wouldn't, because it cuts inwards. Do you see that? Like this outer Z.
I do.
So I think this is a series of complicated lofting operations to points and lines. The first thing that kind of got my juices flowing is this little crook right in there. So what I'm going to do, start off with a cube, and then
Can you do me a favor as well, Jake? Can you go
yeah,
ahead and post that in the Discord right now to the challenges
yes, I
section?
will.
And that way, those of you who are watching and listening along, apologies for those who may be listening along because this is very visual.
Oh, that's a
So,
nightmare.
so
of
we're
an
gonna try
episode.
our best. Yeah, yeah. So great. So that has been posted in there. The design challenge is make
Recreate
it,
this.
and
See if you
then
can make it up because I'm
post.
still not 100% sure that I
So
can
I
make
would like you to
this.
make it, but then I would also like you to post a photo of your timeline. So I want to see all of the individual operations that you went through to make it. The challenge winner will do it in the fewest number of features. How
That's
does
what I
that
like to
sound?
see. That sounds
Okay.
great.
So the challenge is to recreate this in the fewest number of features that you can. It is in there. And I will go ahead and write this. Take it away from here, Jake.
Okay, I'm going to be constantly going between this 3D model and CAD. I'm going to be going back and forth, but I need to make some nominal choices. I think we can kind of see that like for this corner, like obviously the angled lines are different, but like these corners, they're straight. Let's just say it's a 50 millimeter cube, and then I'm just going to play with the dimensions, but I think this is like 5 millimeters. I think that's a safe assumption. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right, so I'm going to start off. Ooh, I think I want to start off with so everything is equal about the origin. So I'm going to make a center rectangle at the origin and then symmetrically extrude it. So the origin is at the dead center of this cube. I think that's what I want. Yep, symmetric, so a whole length of 50. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this orange just so it matches the that'll be easier. Just so it matches the principal's file. Okay. So I'm going to start off just by making a series of sketches, not doing anything with it on the top surface. We'll say that's the top view. So it looks like Y is the front in here. So that means the Z is the top on there. Okay. So we'll just say, all right, it's going to look something like that. That. I think it's something not too dissimilar to this. Is that right? Yeah, flat. Okay. So that means those two need to be parallel.
Can you
Oh,
change
Josh,
the color? It's hard to see the lines you're working on.
Oh,
Are
is
you
it?
able to?
Okay.
Yeah, are you able to
Yeah,
change
yeah,
that
yeah.
orange to something else? Yeah, just something that makes it a little more visible.
Is that a little easier?
A little bit. Yeah, it works a little bit.
Maybe I just stick with the steel, to be honest.
That's probably best. Let's see.
Steel cast. Yeah, remove it.
Yeah, I just.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's so much better. Yeah. Bloody assassin! Come on. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to say this is a nominal side length. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to say. And to be honest, it actually does not matter whatsoever. Ooh, I can use some coincide constraints for this. Ain't that a lovely thing? Just so everything lines up nice and neatly. I think I want that to join to the end of that. Is that right? Yes, that means the middle is skinny. Oh, no, that means it's wider. What? Oh, that means that the height would then change there. Okay. It's like 10. Does that look right? Yeah, that lines up to there. That's a little wider. Okay, so we'll say the entire, so it's a 50 millimeter cube, 5 millimeter side length, 10 millimeter top. Okay. So I'm going to try and just do this on a few different sides. I don't think I need to do it constantly all the way through. New sketch on that. But the most important thing that I'm going to be using is the project tool. That's going to be super duper duper handy today. So this is going to be the Y. Oops. Those two ends need to be coincident. Oh, this is going to be so boring to listen to.
No, I like it. I like it. I don't think it's. I think this is the exact type of stuff that's useful.
Okay. I don't think that point is in the middle. I don't think so. Maybe the. I guess it doesn't. Oh. Okay, so the middle of the X is going to be the center. Should be the origin. And that post is leaning a little bit. Let's say that this is going to be coincident to the origin. Okay. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, man, this is going to be the most difficult thing in the world for people to recreate. And I think this would be a horribly mean challenge to put in the book.
I agree. We're not trying to do that. But Connie's got an idea. So Connie, and also Derry said so too. Yes, please. I might have a way.
Okay.
So
all right. What are they
I
thinking?
don't know. We're gonna see. I posted a challenge. We're gonna try to get in the habit of posting challenges like these. So if you are listening in and you see an object that you're having a hard time recreating, that especially if it appears simple
Yeah.
at first glance, but it turns out to be pretty complex, please do share it. We will try our best to present some weekly design challenges and kind of build this out into something.
Okay. Then that side also has a bit of a flat rectangle as well. Yeah, this is troublesome. Because I don't know if you can see on some sides, like the lines extend all the way to the bottom, and then on some sides they're just edges that then curl away, like on here. So it's pretty weird. It's a really, really, really strange model.
It is a very strange model. It is hard. Derry says the angles aren't as straight as it looked. Yeah.
No. Projecting that point, and then yeah, I think that's all I have from that face. I think I can do a revolve pattern on this one. Let's join that to that, and then that's going to be human. That's going to be 5 millimeters there as well. And then back to basically, so the X is the only one that's kind of normal, where it's just kind of a pattern about the origin. So we're going to have some of those there. What can it still do? Change its angle. Okay, so that wants to be completely symmetric then. I'm just going to make a rough construction line, and then I'm going to use the symmetric tool, pick on both sides, and then there. So that's going to define that. Okay, groovy. And then I can circularly pattern. Double click on there. Click on there as well. The center point is going to be in the middle, and I want to make 4 of them. Okay. So that is now an enclosed profile. That's now got a couple extra bits, and that's okay. All right. I feel a little stress. It's so funny.
Mean, yeah, you're under. This is tough. This is tough stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can go just to speed things up a little bit. Let's see if I can work offline. Can you guys still see all the changes on this? Can you see me orbiting and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The going on the offline helps a little bit. Okay, so I think I can make my first this cut in right here, the top of the X and the bottom of the Z. So I'm kind of looking, and you can kind of you have to think of it as a negative that you're cutting away. So I can kind of see there's a triangle, an upside down triangle here that's being lofted to a point right in that crook that is exactly straight from that corner of the X going inwards some amount. And I think that some amount doesn't matter. I think. I'm going to set that as like a, 10 millimeter? Yeah, I think 10 mil. I think that tracks. So it's this face right there. Oh, that's like things. There we go. All right. That was weird. All right. So I'm going to be making an offset plane from that face that's negative 10 millimeters in. I'm going to make a new. I know. This is going to be. So this is why I think it's so bloody difficult, is because you have to make all of these nodes essentially on all these points and lines on the inside of a model, and it's going to get so busy so quickly. So here's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to say finish sketch, and I want to essentially make a loft, and it's going to ask for that point and then this face. See how it's that space is highlighted, but
Ah,
it's a cutting operation. But is that a straight cut? Is that horizontal line, or is that angled upwards? If I highlight that and then click on the front face, it'll. Yeah, okay, so that's a horizontal line. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So that first cut. So do you kind of see what I'm getting at with this?
yes.
Okay. But now that I've done an operation on there, I then need to go back into my sketches, which is going to be numerous, and then I need to turn back on. So I'm going to name them really quick. So that's going to be Z top. That's going to be. Oops, nope. Just want to rename it. That's going to be. Oh, bloody hell. Come on, click once. Double click. Come on, I just want to rename you, dude. Rename. There we go. That's going to be Y front. And then that's going to be X. If I can spell. X right. Okay. So now that I've got that cut, which is a bisector, I should be able to make the joint between these two edges, and then I can work on those two edges later. Let's do the Z and Y, because that one is going to be genuinely tricky. So we basically have this triangle from the top of the Y, and then that triangle from the top of the Z. And then I think it might just be another point in there. But does that point? Oh, okay, yeah. So that point.
It's probably the midpoint of that Z, huh?
No.
Is it not?
No, because this is a vertical plane. This plane stands up. It doesn't cut in at all. Do you see that? So it means that I need to make a plane that starts at that crook and goes horizontally, not to the origin, but a little bit further out. And I don't know where that point is. Oh my god. Okay. So that means So that means I need to start on there, and I need to. Oh my god. Okay. I essentially need to make a point. Where does it? Oh my god. All right. So it's on top front. Okay. Cool. I know where that is. So I need to make that point there that is on this line, but is directly below the origin in this view. That's where I need to make the point below. So I need to make an offset plane from that plane, extend it to that point. Yes. And then I need to make a sketch on that plane that then projects that point. Then I've got that point in there, and that's what I'm lofting to. So I need to, so it's that point, and then cutting off from these two faces.
Doesn't like it.
Oh, it doesn't like it. So then,
what did it yell at you? What was the error that it yelled at you with?
I don't know. So that's going to be. So it goes there to there. It doesn't like it because it's only cutting a little bit. What? It's from the Y. So, oh my god, Josh. It should. Okay, but then it's also following along the Y from there. So that has to be a line as well. So it's not just the point. Gross. This is awful. But you can see that line right there on the Y. Oh my god. It's awful. It's all bad. So there's another triangle in there. So then maybe I need to make a. So it's not a point to a plane. Or it's not an offset plane. I can delete that. It is a plane at an angle from that line that is 90 degrees. That's it, I think. It's that point, but I'm then projecting this. Yeah. I'd be projecting that straight, but that ends up on the side. Oh my god. What? This is just going to be an hour of me. I'm going to start swearing in a bit.
Well,
I apologize.
This is to me, this is the good stuff, right? Because it's easy to look at learning CAD from the outside and say, oh, wow, like it's not, but even for somebody who does it daily and has been for years, many, many, many years, you can see 20. These design challenges are still tough. It still takes time. This is not an instant process. You don't recreate these things that easily.
And here's the thing. If it is something that's like very, very simple, if someone finds a simple solution to this, I'm going to be over the moon. I'm going to be singing songs of praises of you.
Yes.
That's amazing. But here's the thing. I don't think it's simple. I think it's actually very difficult. These have to be equal lines that are 20 millimeters below. Do you see how complicated this gets so quickly? So there's now a triangle inside there that I think I want to loft to. I think I'm using those as rails. Oh. Yeah, okay. Let me turn on the Z-top and the Y-front again. Did I do it? I think I did it.
It's
is that most
no, it's
recent sketch?
missing. Is it vertical? Look from the top. No, there's another one in there, right?
There is another one. Where did that line go? What?
Yeah, there's
What?
1, 2, 3, 3
So there's
exactly.
so there's a line that needs to extend there.
Because then yes.
That's it.
Yep. I think if you have a line straight to the midpoint, you're of the.
So it would be 20 millimeters down, because that lines up with the notch of the Z, or sorry, of the Y, and then it's going to extend in a bit to that point there. Yeah.
Yep. If you're just joining us, it looks like we've had a handful of people just joining us. We are doing a design challenge. We talked about this at the beginning of the pod. We're trying to get back into doing more CAD related stuff live on air, talking about some design decisions that we're making so that we're more of a CAD focused channel as we've always wanted to be. So we are trying to recreate an object that our co-author Ed sent us it looks somewhat simple, but it is incredibly complex and hard to do. So this is where we are right now. That object is in the challenges section of the Discord with a little challenge of the week. And if any of you are able to make this, and
if anybody can figure it out,
it'd be great.
And let's see.
That looks good. That looks good. No.
This is just sketch lines. This has I haven't actually done anything yet.
Right.
So it is. I believe it's that point to these two faces.
Yep.
Which doesn't work. And
the bottom face?
All three rails.
Okay.
But it doesn't like that either. Does it? Am I dumb? Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it didn't. Or is it just to that bottom line? Am I stupid? I mean, the answer is yes. We know that. Is it to that point and that point? Nope. I can't loft to a line? Is that true?
Shouldn't be true.
I don't know that. Is that true? Can you not loft to a line? It's just, dead simple shape. So you can loft to a point. We know that. That's easy. Yeah. Is that something that we're just learning together as people? Without judging each other? So we can loft to a point. That's fine. But we can but I can't loft to a line. What? Has that always been a thing? Center line.
Can you loft to both points?
I don't
the endpoints of the two lines, does that do the same? Can you
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That was an error.
1, 2. Oh.
No.
Oh,
why would you not? There's an error. Why would I not be able to do that? Huh? Okay. That's weird. That's a strange one. I don't understand that. Okay, so the annoying thing is that these what look like inset faceted faces are not faces at all. Are there any comments coming in? Any suggestions to help JP out?
We're seeing comments, but nothing. What What if we extrude all the letters and have them joined into a single solid? Wonder how close we'd be.
So the problem with that we talked about a little bit earlier is they don't overlap sometimes.
Look at the front. Look at the front of the Y, like straight head on. Let me look at it again. Okay.
So I'm happy to try that out, but then you'll see very quickly that
can you extrude to the face, the Y
you
cutout?
can extrude to faces of the Y.
And you extrude the V shape to that face.
But then what do you start with, and how far down, and then what do you extrude?
I
cutting?
see. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me play with that. So that like for example, this Z would then, like, this face is angled inwards. It would be cutting inwards a bit. So that doesn't really. So even though the Y looks like it's going all the way through, the other pieces are technically tapered inwards, but only some faces. So like this face right there and that face right there are not parallel. I think
It says change to surface loft, and then you can select
change to surface loft. Okay.
Change to surface loft. And you can select open profiles / rails within reason. Solid loft.
Do this. Let me try and
see if you can do it surface.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and do to that. Oh, can I do that line? Doesn't like the line.
Selecting.
That point and then use. It can't do that. It can't even. But then the rails, that's what it would want to follow across.
It says yeah, loft to or from a line is only available from the surface tools.
Interesting. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I guess it would have no volume at that line.
But even that isn't. Loft could not be created. It should be able to. We did it bloody earlier. Right? Like, okay, let's. I want to continue, change it up. So let's say. Okay, so let's say I do go with the extrude to a face. So I could extrude this X, this bottom half to that flat face, easy, and then I can extrude this top face to the angled Y underside.
Yeah,
that's easy.
But
then yeah, again, this Z this is a flat edge, and then it's crooking in under, which is not a loft because these two faces are parallel, so they're not going to a point, they're going parallel to each other. So then, and then the Y, it's like I need to start all of them simultaneously. Whoever made this is a monster. I hate them. The Y doesn't. This Y doesn't disappear. Let's try that. Let's start out with a Y. So I'm going to start offset -25, and I'm going to call this sketch Y front. Y front. We'll do center. Yeah, we'll do center construction. 25. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. 50 by 50. Grand. We wanted to say that was 5 mil. Oh, whoops. Excuse me. Still construction. We'll say, okay, that's 5 mil. Yes. You'll agree. That's 5 mil. Yeah, it had a bottom bit as well. That is also 5 tall. Okay. Everyone's with me, I hope. I really do hope someone figures this out in a nice, simple, and succinct way. But I just know that the person that does figure this out, I'm going to hate. I can feel it in my bones, the hatred rising. Sit out of there, figure it out. Ugh. I'm gonna be like a jealous dad. Okay, so those two, so all these lines are parallel. And they're all parallel to their crosshatching. Yes. Yep, that's 5. Then we've got some equals going on. So that's 5 to there, which is also 5 to there. Groovy. Those two diagonal lines are equal. Okay. What did we say about that? What? We came up with all of these rules and then completely forgot. Yeah, we said that's 10. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So then I'm going to be extruding this 50 mil. Okay. Which this bottom
Hey.
plane doesn't really work because then this gets cut by the X cut in, which is fine. We'll stick with it. So then we're going to be making the X on that face. So we're going to be calling that X right.
Can you extrude? I have some ideas.
All right, what are your ideas?
You've extruded the X. Extrude X, Y, and Z.
To where though? To widths.
Through the entire piece.
You're gonna get so much overlap. You don't even know what's coming. This center point. Oh, yeah, all lines up. This is the only symmetric face. Yes. Okay. So, let's actually bisect that. Because we know the crook of the Y.
Derry said doesn't work, just tried it.
Yeah.
This is what I love, right? I love that people are also working through it as we're doing it. So this is, I think we're on the right track here. And by the way, I'm just going to shout this out, Jake. I haven't mentioned too much of this to you yet, but we are looking forward to, we're going to apply for another innovation grant here in Sacramento. But why that matters to you all is because we're thinking about putting on a design challenge around it to our community. And that design challenge would be making agricultural solutions for things. And dairy, I believe you have the tag because you may or may not be on a farm. Just guessing. Derriere sounds quite like
it sounds farmish.
Ed and I have been kind of thinking a little bit about how to make that a challenge that's fun for our community and ties together a lot of what we've been trying to do. So more on that soon. More soon.
It's a good band name. Okay, then I want to extrude. So then let's just say join. Yeah. So then a bit of this is like mirrorable. Mirrorable. No, I don't like that. Mirrorable?
Mirrorable. So good.
All right. So potentially I could solve this top X. Nope, I can do this in the X sketch. I don't need to make a new one. I can open up X front and say, or it's X right, sorry. Make a line there, or just actually, screw it, I can just project that face. Yeah, and then I can loft that face to this point. Nope, it's not clickable. I'm unable to clickable. Wait, what origin? Why is the origin popping up? I don't care about the origin. How bloody what? Josh, I hate this project, and I hate Ed for bringing it up. It's like this would be a fun thing. No, it's not, Ed. It's awful. Why would that be 15 millimeters in? Why would it be a nice number? It's stupid. It's a stupid thing. Okay, there you go. Now I've got a point on the inside Yeah, that's now clickable, and then I can turn on that and then select that face, and that's now a cutting operation. Okay, so that now that works.
Hey.
Yeah, that works there. Is that what's on the bottom? It is. Okay, so then I'm going to mirror that 3D operation, that lofting cut, then about the top plane to cut it on the bottom. But then that looks totally weird.
Does not.
Then
Wait.
then it's not.
Yeah. It's not like that at all. Yeah.
Do you see how there's like this mass here that's
Yeah.
made from the Z?
Mm.
But it's made, the mass here that I'm trying to cut away in that lofting operation is made from this angled Z cut-in, which is totally screwing me.
Yep.
About to start saying explicitive. I'm going to try and mirror that X to the opposite side. About front. Oh, whoops. I can actually do both features. Oh, duh. I can do the loft as well. Okay. But
That's
now
an
I've
idea.
got these funky, weird bits. Where did they come from? I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Where did it come from?
Oh, the mid.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, what?
That plane. Yeah.
What?
Hey, Josh. We're approaching 10:30, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, it's a design challenge for the week. So the good news is we can come back next week. We don't have to do it again. To be continued. To be continued.
No. Well, thank you very much, guys, for watching me pull my hair out. If anybody can figure this out over the week, we will absolutely highlight you. And if you figure it out and you can prove it with your file, and you want to come on the pod and actually show us how you did it,
yeah, that'd be fun.
we would sincerely love that, because the logic that goes into making that is that's not easy. Anyway, really quickly before we sign off, thank you again very much, anybody in our community that bought our book on Amazon. Incredibly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please leave a review.
Please.
Helps us out massively.
Please leave us a
review.
It is
incredibly important.
I am begging you,
for
take
Amazon.
a photo, spend a little bit of time writing a nice review. It matters tremendously.
Please be honest as well. Don't just say, yeah, they're great.
We lost all of our reviews because Autodesk changed their name to Autodesk Fusion. We had to change the title of the book to match that. And now we don't have any of our, Jake, it's crazy to think 98 reviews on that first volume. They're all
thank you again.
gone.
Thank you ever so much, people.
Please and thank you.
The most recent.
Yep. Well, Jake, this has been the CADclass podcast. Once again, I'm Josh.
I'm Jake.
And we will see your design challenges next week.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.